All righty. We are back. All right, Heather. All you got to do is request to be a guest. So it's like the fourth icon from the bottom. So if you could do that, that would be super. And then we'll just get started. All right. I am on my phone now. Cool. Technology, man. Gotta love it. And I'm going to take out my earbuds because they are not going to help me at all. All right. Got my volume up. Cool beans. All right. So hopefully this should work. All right. Somebody found me. Who is that? Is that Heather? Is that Stephanie? How's it going? Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Yep. Feel free to comment on... comment and let me know who you are, where you're from, and what the weather's like today. And if you have an animal with you, I got my little poochie right there. So Heather, if you can hear me, oh, hey, cool. So there we go. All you got to do is you can request to join me as a guest on the podcast. Great. And so you just click on the fourth icon from the right on the bottom of your screen. It's like a person. Okay. Okay. Huh. So I think you have to request. You have to request to be on it. So can you hear me, Heather? You have to request to be on it. So there's an icon on the bottom of your screen with like a big person and then a little person in a picture. You have to be on your phone. I know. It's like, I don't know why they don't have that icon for like actually on the computer. It's weird. So, but I think it's on the bottom. It should be on the bottom. I know, technology, man. If not, I'm just going to open up a StreamYard account. Oh, going on your phone. Okay. This is no big. This is all practice. It's all practice. This is all practice. It's all good. I'm just going to have some water. Oh, yay. Yes!
Well,
two broads figuring out Facebook Live.
well,
For the win. For the win.
This will teach us to not try something first.
I'm like, it's live, you know. What could go wrong today? I have all I have my giant stack of books that's holding up my computer, you know. I have water and my bluebird of happiness. I think I threw it. No, I didn't throw it on the floor. I always bring my bluebird of happiness with me. It's bring me good luck.
Yes.
Like rub it for good luck. Yeah. So how's it going, Heather?
It's good now. There were other people watching, and I don't know if they're going to come back.
I know we're going to have to. Well, I told my community. I said I am going to do a transcription of this. So it'll be actually like a full post and a transcription, and it'll be good. It'll be all good. I know. I feel like with my phone now, like my face just got enormous. Like, I need to be like over here.
Oh.
Crazy. It looks like you have a very nice comfy chair today.
Yes. Won't it just post on your news feed? You can take the link.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and then you'll be able to share it. So I deleted the first video because that was just like, I feel like it was a non-starter. Oh, we totally, you know, I feel like we were super nerdy. We like did videos like and tutorials and, you know, it just didn't work out today. But
YouTube failed us. That's what happened, is YouTube failed us.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There was a thumbs down on that video. I'm going to say it doesn't, they should only say that works on the phone.
Yes.
And not on an actual computer that might have more reliable service and or microphone and or headphones.
Yes. So
crazy. So welcome to the first Soul Sanity live conversation. I'm Heidi Esther, your Soul Sanity bear, you know, just making lemonade from lemons. That's what we do in life. And I have the absolute privilege of being here with Heather Kokx, a love and light warrior and a fabulous person all around. And now published author. Woo! So if anyone does tune in, or if you're watching this replay, feel free to put all of your questions or comments in the chat, and Heather and I will get back to them. No problemo, ASAP. As soon as we obviously figure out the technology that's going down right now. So yes, I am in. I'm in my cozy room in my house today. In case you want to know what's happening, I'm hiding from the sun because it's a heat index of 105 here in Central Illinois.
Goodness.
Yay! So what's the temps out in Colorado?
It's supposed to be in the 90s today and smoky. That's the lame part, is the smokes from California is flowing over here and it looks apocalyptic.
Ooh, spooky.
And you can't really be outside very long. And it's better than it was a couple days ago. A couple days was nasty.
Oh, okay. So it's on the improvement scale.
It is on the improvement scale, yes. But I was going to go paddleboarding Sunday morning. Decided it was not a good choice for my life.
Oh, wow. So are they actually wearing masks now for air quality?
I have not seen other people doing it. Mostly people just don't go outside. So, yeah.
Yeah, and 90s in Colorado, that's hot.
Yeah, it is hot. It's hot and dry, and you know, I have to walk the puppy dog, so when it's like this, I do put on my mask.
Do you have the puppy dog around?
Yes, I can go grab her. She doesn't. She's like, I hate it when you're off, Mom, but yeah.
You're always putting me in front of the device thing, that flat rectangle thing.
Okay, she says, I was sleeping. This is not cool.
Oh my God, who is the fluff ball?
Oh, she says, I hate this so much.
Is it a he or a she? I don't even know.
Her name is Ember. She's a corgi. She's a corgi fluff, which is a technical term actually. So it's a defect in the breed to be a fluff.
Oh, I would think it'd be a good thing. No. Okay.
She's not show quality, she's love quality.
Oh, see.
Yes. And there's a story I read in a magazine where the queen was breeding her corgi with some other guy, and the guy was being all like trying to be show offy and said, well, I've never had a fluff. And she looked at him and said, we've all had fluffs. Like, don't even give me that. So, but I think that they're more fun, the fluffies. So.
Fantabulous. Yeah, I rescued here's my dog that doesn't like to be. So this is Olive.
Hi, Olive.
She's a Chiweenie, so she hates this part. She's really long.
Oh.
She just keeps going and going. And so she's part Dachshund, part Chihuahua. She's got the Dachshund ears, and she's got the giant Dachshund paws, and she's got the ferocity and the protection instincts of a Chihuahua. So she's our guard dog. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you go back to chewing your bone. I know. Before I was a dog mom, I mean, I feel like she's my emotional support animal. I don't know how I would have managed the pandemic without Olive, to be honest. So, all right. So Heather, I'm going to do official introduction, and then we're going to get into some lovely questions. Okay. So Heather's a lifelong townie of Littleton, Colorado. After college, she joined corporate, and then it was okay. And about 3 years later, she woke up and thought, you know what? If I do this every day of my life, I'm not going to be happy anymore. So she began a big journey and to what kind of like makes her happy. And Heather, I totally get that. I had a moment about 12 years ago where I was like, am I happy? What is happy? I don't even know. And I was completely isolated. So I definitely could have used the Heather love about a dozen years ago, for sure. For sure. So Heather is here to share her journey, inner and outward journey, and her journey to the stars and back, and to share a little bit about how she got to a place where she loves herself and about her awesome new book. Yay! So I am so honored and excited to be sharing space with you today, Heather, and so glad to have you here. All right, Heather, tell me about yourself. Like, maybe give me like three things that you would, want people to know about who is Heather.
Heather is, I don't know why this first came to my head. I'm short. I'm barely 5 foot.
You're a tiny powerhouse.
Yes, that's right. In fact, once somebody was throwing out a box, they just bought a child seat, and I looked at the height for it, and I was like, that's almost me. Like I could be in a child seat. That's not okay. So anyway, I was a massage therapist for almost 20 years and an energy healer still. And I just really enjoy helping people become happier in their life and happier with themselves. And let's see, what else? I'm a yoga instructor. I do love yoga. I love the Enneagram. Holy cow, don't get me started talking about And let's see, I am married to a wonderful man named Jeff, and we have Ember, and I have a bit of an evil sense of humor, but I know everybody. So I'll share that here. And yeah, that's what's coming to mind so far. And I love Marvel movies and sci-fi movies and fantasy movies and all of that. I'm a total nerd.
All right. Yeah. So that was one of my questions. Like you use the word nerd a lot. Like a lot of like I grew up I was in pretty nerdy household, and like I feel like I own it. I own the word nerd. So like, why are you so passionate about the word nerd? Like, what about it like really speaks to you?
I think being a nerd is really knowing what it is that you like and being passionate about it and not being afraid to like sing it out to the world. So whether that's like I have some friends who say they're nerds of yoga, like they're just passionate about yoga and they're always talking about it. And so I don't think a nerd necessarily means that you like Lord of the Rings, right? I think it means that you know what makes you happy, you know what makes your heart sing. And I guess I'm passionate about that because I think that's part of discovering who you are and learning to love yourself, is finding those things. So I think being a nerd and finding your nerdy self is part of self-love.
I totally agree. Like, I guess I really equivocate the word curiosity, right? So people follow the inner curiosity, and the longer you dig and dig and dig, you get this knowledge, right? That makes you a nerd in that special way. So you just fall down the rabbit hole or rabbit holes of many things, Yeah, I totally get that. I finally realized the other day that I was a nerd in just professional development and development of myself and my soul. And that's just, and my kids would call me a feelings nerd. Probably. If they ever got off their screens, they would probably do that. Yeah. So yeah, I love that word nerd. So you have like all these big, okay, so you have all these big skills. Did you like use them? Like, cause you have this Enneagram piece, right? And you have this energy healing piece, and then you have this yoga piece. Like you have all these big pieces that you put together. And I know there's more. So how did you get to a point where like, did you use them for like to heal yourself? Was that part of your journey? And if so, like, how did they help you And then, you know, are you using them now to help others?
So when I originally went to massage school, it was to heal other people. Um, I just had this innate knowing that it was what I was supposed, kind of innate, kind of not. It started with my dad having me walk on his back when I was a little girl, right? His back would hurt, so he'd lie down and I'd walk on it.
Oh, the crunches, the crunches. Okay, okay.
And then, when I was in band in high school, you know, all the drummers, I played the cymbals because I played the oboe, which it wasn't a marching band instrument, so I had to play the cymbals, which is a really dangerous instrument, and that's another story. Um, but you know, their shoulders would get all tight, and so I would kind of try to work out their muscles. I guess I just innately knew. So I went to massage school to learn to heal other people. But going through massage school is also about learning about yourself and your self healing, because you have to be prepared to hold your own space and know yourself in order to be in that kind of a vulnerable situation with other people. Meaning, I'm not necessarily vulnerable, but they are. They're in a very vulnerable place. I mean, you're naked on the table, right? Like, how much more vulnerable can you
Yeah,
be?
you pretty much can't
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
And so, so I learned a lot about myself, and I think that really started everything to moving forward into healing and energy work. And then um, the Enneagram happened, that was for healing me, because I broke off an engagement and I was like, I need to figure out why I can't have a good relationship. Not in just in case anybody knows who I am and knows who this person is. He's a lovely man, really is. It just wasn't going to be a good fit, and I would have been miserable. So, but anyway, so I went to a therapist and she knew the Enneagram, and that's how that whole ball started rolling. So, yeah, it just little bits that helped me came together, and I was like, this is really cool. You need to do this. You need to do this. Um, and so I never beat anybody over the head about it, except for maybe the Enneagram and my poor husband. But I was always like, I learned this. This is really cool. Let me help you. That's how I've always been. So.
Wow. Yeah. So, well, I know what Enneagram type you are, but you want to share a little bit about your type and like what you found out about yourself and your type. And obviously, I'm going to guess you probably know what your husband's type is also,
Yep.
and how that has helped like your relationship. Just because like I'm also getting somewhat obsessed with Enneagram right now, and I think it's a neat tool.
So I'm a 9 on the Enneagram. There's 9 personalities altogether. And for people who don't know what the Enneagram is, it's a personality profiling, but it's focused on self-development. So once you discover your number, you know what your big fear is, and you begin to observe in your life all the somersaults and cartwheels and everything you do to avoid ever having that happen to you again, whatever that feeling is. And so for me as a 9, my big fear is of um, being isolated or torn away from everybody else, which means conflict. And so in order to keep the peace with everybody, I pretend that I am invisible and I don't matter. Or I actually believe that, I'm not pretending. And so that's why in my 20s, I was just kind of this zombie. And that's why I wasn't happy, you know, and I didn't have any passion for life, which I guess is why I'm so important to be a nerd now. It gives me passion for life.
Yeah.
So once I learned that, everything like made sense, like all the choices that I'd made before, um, why I did the things I did. And then I was like, okay, so now I know. And now it's my job to start testing that fear and proving to myself it's not true. So that's what my journey has been since then. So I learned that about myself when I was 30, and I am now 47. So, and it's an ongoing journey. I mean, I won't ever be afraid um, of putting myself out there, but the volume goes down. You know, it gets easier and easier.
Mhm.
So
Because you can see what would hinder you now. by having that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see what is holding you back. Ah. Mm-hmm.
I think that I can be a yoga instructor and a massage therapist and all these things because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for other people. I'm not trying to be the spotlight. Look at me. I'm holding the space and helping other people. So I'm not putting the spotlight on me. I'm putting the spotlight on them. And I think that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, I'm not the person to like at an interview and like, why are you good for this job? I'm not the person to go, well, let me tell you how awesome I am. You know,
How much time do we have?
yeah, exactly. I'm not that. I'll be saying things, but inside I'll be saying, please just hire me because I'm a good person and I try. And you know, yeah. So anyway, that's what being a 9 is. So then my husband is an 8, and they are the bosses of the world, and they are probably the most confident number on the Enneagram. They're like, they truly believe that they have control of their world and they can handle any situation that happens. And so when I say something about me being afraid that I don't matter, my husband's like, what? Like, what do you mean? You just walk.
How is this speaking? You're not making any sense.
Yeah, it's just like, wah, 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 it makes no sense. Um, and then he isn't afraid of competition at all. Like, we're completely opposite. And so he'll say, well, just call them and tell them that they're wrong. Like, okay, you know, I might as well fly to the moon right now. That's how easy that sounds.
I'm gonna go dig a tunnel to somewhere else in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, or yeah. And so he has taught me to stand up for myself. I've gotten somewhat better at confrontation because of him. Hopefully I'm rubbing off on him. Because with the 8, the problem is that they have these gut reactions. They don't always think first. So sometimes I'll be the person that says, you need to walk away from the computer before you type up that email and do it in the morning. Like, you need to just walk away from this right now until your brain turns back on.
But he's like, no, they need to know what they did was.
Yes, exactly. They
Mhm.
know what they did was wrong.
Yeah.
Right now. And I'm like,
Wow. So has having that kind of a filter, the Enneagram filter, is that like giving you a better understanding like in your marriage?
oh yeah, absolutely. I think that the Enneagram is huge for relationships, because you learn that when that other person, your partner, is having what I call a personality attack, like they're freaking out, you have this understanding of, wait, this has nothing to do with me. Out of 10, something has triggered them, and their big fear is exploding. And it could be you, it could be the dog, it could be their boss, like, it doesn't matter. They are reacting to that. And then you don't take things so personally.
And you can also, do you use that as a self check-in too when you have a big reaction?
Yes, sometimes if I'm present enough, it's very helpful. My big thing is when I'm feeling like starting to feel needy, because I feel like my husband is pulling away. He's not, he's doing his thing. But I'm feeling like that. And one of my check-ins is, what could he say right now that would completely alleviate what I'm feeling right now? What could he say that would make it right? And if there isn't an answer, I know it's me. Does that make sense? Like, if I go things that he could say and I'm like, no, that wouldn't help, that wouldn't help, that wouldn't help. It'd be nice to hear that, but it wouldn't.
That'd be great. Wait, he could do those chores. No, that does.
But then I know that it's me, and no matter how, regardless of how painful it is, I need to walk away because he's not going to make it better. It's all about me, and I need to figure that out on my own.
Wow, that is powerful just to have that tool. So in using that tool, or maybe getting a little away from the Enneagram, like how do you in now that you're showing up as a healer, like how do you define self-care for yourself now? Like as you're helping fill others, you know, others find how to fill their cups. How do you do that in your life?
Um, it has definitely changed over time. Like I'll be into this and be into this. Like for a long time, I was totally into meditation, and that was my thing. Right now, I'm back into journaling again, um, and then going for walks, um, having alone time, knowing, becoming aware of when I've crossed my limit and I just need to isolate somehow.
Mhm.
Whether that's watching a movie, reading a book, going for a walk, doing some yoga. Yoga is huge too. Yoga is huge self-care. I didn't realize how much yoga was self-care until the shutdown. And I started losing my mind. And I started teaching yoga on Facebook. And I went, oh, okay. Because you when you're doing something for maintenance, you don't realize because you're maintaining until it's taken away. Does that make
Yeah, you don't know if it's lifting you up until it's not there anymore.
right? And so I'm good. And so that's a good reminder of you may feel good today, but you still need to do it because it's serving its purpose. You just aren't aware as much anymore, but it is. It's huge. So
Wow, that is beautiful. And speaking of different ways for self-care, I'm gonna segue into your book. So, um, Heather is a recently published author of a lovely book called Gateway to Healing, which I had the pleasure of reading. And Heather, could you just tell me like what was the inspiration for your book? And you also have a course by the same name. So like how did that come about, and like what was that process like? Also, I am a writer also, so I understand the pain and joy of the writing process. So tell me a little bit about inspiration for the book, what the process was like.
so the course came before the book. Let me back up. So over what the inspiration was, over my years of working with clients, I noticed that some people got better, and moved forward in their life and grew. And other people didn't. They just were stuck in the same place. And it was like the same thing over and over again, no matter what I did. Um, and just observing all of these things started kind of clicking, like, oh, that um, like the second key of healing, which is you can only heal yourself. Like I'd have these people come and they'd say, oh, you got your work cut out for you today, or you got to make this better. And it's like, I'm going to do my part, but it doesn't matter how much I do my part. You have to do your end. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So I just started noticing these things, and they came out to be 4 keys of healing, which are belief systems that people, how they view the world. And then the 7 principles, they're kind of road signs to getting to your growth. So it doesn't, even if you have all of the 4 beliefs like in place and you're like, I'm rocking it, sometimes you need to look at the 7 principles and be like, why am I feeling stuck? Oh, yeah, I need to remember that food matters. I've been eating like crap lately, or um, I am not believing that this is going to happen. Like there's faith and trust, which is one of them. And so I was originally going to write a book. That was the plan, was to write a book. And every time I sat down to write it about these, it just wasn't coming out. It just wasn't working. And then the pandemic happened and I had a lot of time. So I decided to do a self-healing course. And so along with the keys and the principles, there were tools like meditation and journaling and learning how to set boundaries, things like that. And I think that's when it all came together. I made the course, and all of a sudden, it wasn't just a book about rules. There was
Mhm.
ways to help and make these things happen. And that's when it all came together. So then after the course, I was able to transfer it into a book. But I think the course had to be that in between of figuring out how it all really came together.
Wow. So you mentioned boundaries, and boundaries is there are a couple quotes in the book. Let me see if I have one here somewhere. But yeah, here it is. And there are a couple quotes in the book that are in all caps, which is a very strong emphasis on things. And one of these is boundaries are important. Boundaries are about respect. So do you have a story about boundaries? It seems like there was a lot of passion behind those words. You got a story to share, or talk to me about boundaries.
So that would be my entire life. Would be that. I why I put that in bold is because it was one of those aha moments for me. Of boundaries aren't about putting myself first, because that's what it felt like, especially as a 9. Because setting a boundary is saying I'm more important than you in my mind. And it is. Boundaries are self-care. Boundaries are the sole purpose of a boundary is to take care of you. But what was the aha moment is boundaries are about respect for that other person too, not just you. Because you're telling this person, look, I like you, I want to hang out with you, but we have to have this rule, and otherwise it's not going to work. And that's okay, because how are they supposed to understand how you want to be treated, what's important to you, all of that, if you don't tell them, right? So that's what I mean about boundaries are about respect. And that aha moment was, oh, actually I'm being kind if I set boundaries. So I'm giving that person a chance.
Yeah, to be respectfully in your life, and you respectfully in theirs. My big boundary moments are when I start to feel anger. And as an Enneagram 2, as a nurturer, I don't usually feel a lot of anger. I might feel like guilt, resentment, and but when anger comes up, it's very, very strong. And so then I'm like, all right, what boundary do I got to set? What's gotta change here? And in my house in the pandemic, we created door knockers. So one side was like, knock first and you can come in. The other side was like, go away.
I love that so much.
So I let my kids customize there. Of course, there's less swear words around because I got teenagers now. But yeah, boundaries are hugely important, and just so respectful. It's like I am showing you that I respect myself, so I want you to also respect me. And if it's not going to work like that, we can't work together. So
I'm respecting you enough to say, hey, I want to hang out with you, but this is how it's got to play out. And saying also, you can tell me your boundaries too. That's totally fine. Doing something gives the other person permission to do it as well. So, do you know why you get so angry as a 2?
As a 2. Well, I know, like, my whole world revolves around taking care. So like it's how I'm taking care of myself or taking care of others. And it might be, I don't know, is that because like I'm expecting other people to take care of me?
Yes. And
okay.
But what happens, because you said the key part, that as a 2, you rarely, you don't like to get angry. It doesn't happen a lot. And so when you do, people are like, what the hell just happened? It's like people push you, you get resentful. And then the 2 is connected on the Enneagram to the 8, which is what my husband is. And so when you're under stress, you actually move to the 8 and you take on the 8 and on their extraordinary ability to have boundaries, and you're like, no more.
I feel like I grow this giant turtle shell that has spikes on it, and people, it's just like, you don't want to do this right now. You gotta let me deflate.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but that's what the 8 is there for. The 8 is there to have your back and to say, you can set up these boundaries, you can say no, and you can take care of yourself. So yeah, I love the Enneagram.
Anyway. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah,
Yes.
Take that little nugget in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got my whole family to do the Enneagram, and they're just like, whenever I say like, oh, that's such what a 6 would do, and my son's like, oh. I even Enneagram typed my ex-husband, so he's an 8. My current wife is a 1. So so I definitely have some attraction to people who have the gut types. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. Ooh. Okay, so I feel like we've already talked about that. So I'm gonna start this new thing on every time I interview someone, and I'm gonna call it Lemons into Lemonade. So can you tell me about a time you took lemons and you make them into lemonade? Like you struggled, what you learned from it, and like how you grew or how you feel about that now.
All right. Okay, so the biggest one is when I broke off my engagement, but everybody's heard that story. Not everybody, but a lot of people have heard that story. So I'm going to talk about another one that not a lot of people know about. It's when my sister and I and my best friend, we decided we wanted to crew a pit stop for the breast cancer walk. And I had done the walk, as my sister had done it 2 times. And, you know, people like for the pit stops, they have a theme and they decorate everything, and then they hand out Gatorade and snacks and stuff like that, and let people sit and take a rest before they move on. And so we were like, yeah, let's do that. That looks like a lot of fun. So we're sitting at the initial meeting of, hey, if you want to do this, this is it. And they said, but every crew needs a leader. And is anybody here willing to be the leader? And I don't know why, but this little voice in my head said, you should do that. You should be the leader. And so I rose my hand, and maybe this happened or not, but in my memory, my best friend looked at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. You know, I think I can do this. I want to do this. No. That was a horrible mistake. I was stressed out the entire time because when you're a leader, what is it you have to do? You have to confront people all the time, and you have to tell people what to do. And no, 9s don't do that. That is not, because what people don't understand is that with a 9, every little thing is confrontation. Answering the phone is confrontation because you don't know what's on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to tell that person. I've gotten very good at just hanging up. Like if it's not something, I just hang up. That's the easiest way to handle that. So all of a sudden I have all of these different personalities from different areas around the state and nearby states. And I have to reel them all in, get them all to do the same thing. And many of them have strong personalities. And it was so hard. It was so hard. So the lemonade part of this is that I learned a lot about myself. Like, you know, that is not my forte. That is not my forte. Being a leader like that, being a manager like that. Now, someday I would like to own my own yoga studio, in which case I'm going to have to learn that. But maybe that'll be different because it's mine and I'm the boss, and I don't want you to mess up what I've worked for. But with like dealing with a bunch of people who are just volunteering and there to have a good time, you know, it was really hard. And there was one point where I lost it, and it was over stickers. It was over stupid Dr. Seuss stickers. And I had bought these because our theme was Dr. Seuss. I bought Dr. Seuss stickers, and somebody else had bought some, and they literally took mine and put them away somewhere else so they weren't being handed out, so that they could hand out theirs. And I was just like, I don't know why, that was the last straw for me. I lost it.
It's probably a 9 trigger, but that's a huge story. It's like you had that intuition though. You had the intuition, said like, maybe try this out and see how this fits. And so you learned that maybe that doesn't fit right now. and you might have some work to do for your yoga studio.
I've learned a lot more about confrontation and boundaries since then, a lot more. So that's okay.
Great. Yeah. So continuing to speak about learning, I want you to tell me who can benefit from your book. Like what are people going to be what kind of people, like what kind of questions are they going to be asking themselves? Like who can most benefit from the Gateway to Healing?
So I think people, number one, first and foremost, people who are learning to love themselves or they don't love themselves. I think that would be first and foremost because I think that's so important. And I really go into it like midway through the book, but everything's leading up to that. So people who are trying to, who don't love themselves, and I don't mean like they hate themselves, that's not, I understand there are people out there that do that. I'm not saying you have to hate yourself to read my book and get something from it. What I'm saying is that you may look at the mirror and have more critical talk than good. And learning to discover who you are and how cool you are is huge. So that would be number one. Two, anybody that looks around at their life and thinks, this, like you did, like I, I don't think this is what I want. Like this isn't. I'm not happy. I might be okay, but am I living? Am I excited about my life? Am I? Because I feel like everybody has the potential to have this foundation of happiness in their life. And I'm not saying they're Pollyanna happy all day long, every day. What I'm saying is that when you stop and somebody asks you, are you happy? You have this flash of your life right now, right? And you can say, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I like who I am. I like who I'm with, or I like that I'm not with anybody, because that can be very much the case.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-oh. I think that Heather, I think I lost Heather. Oh goodness. Yeah, I think I lost her on the audio. So, all right, Heather, I'm going to have you maybe write up a little bit more about what you were saying. You could be, oh, you're still here. Okay. And how come it popped you off? That is so weird. It's not letting me invite you. I'm going to try to do this. Okay, it says I can't bring you on camera anymore for some reason. So it won't let me invite you. Yeah, it is a stupid phone call, but this was a fabulous conversation. And I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm going to write out a bunch of links where you can go buy your book, Heather's book, and dive into all of the keys and the principles of healing and all of the wonderful resources through her very profound, long, beautiful, messy, awesome, fabulous journey that she has been on. And Heather, I had absolute privilege to chat with you today, and keep being totally awesome. And I know I'll talk to you soon. Take care.